All right, let's see here. Okay, OBS is up and running. Chat is showing up. Okay, that's correct. YouTube is live. Okay then. Hello once again, everybody. How are you doing? Good to be with you. So, we missed out a little bit on Suzerain yesterday. Got a little tired. Been, as I explained in the previous stream, but just a quick recap for anybody who didn't tune into the last stream. Been splitting my time between job hunting and trying to do this just to keep myself sane. So yeah, we are doing all we can, and hopefully we have something good in the way. I definitely have at least one interview scheduled in the next 2 weeks, but the sooner I can get a steady source of income, the better. Until then, we are left drift. So, we do what we can. Never panic. Remember, panic will get you in serious trouble. Hello. Welcome back. Alrighty, so we're about 2 minutes in. Give it a little bit longer. Make sure that yeah, I'm pretty sure I've posted on X/Twitter, posted to the Discord. I think we're good. People should start showing up. We're getting some regular viewership here the last week or so, that's good. Everybody has money trouble. You just got to get through it however you can. Alrighty. Let's not dwell too much on the unfun stuff. We're here to play some Suzerain. So, last I remember, we had gone through the discussion with the conservatives, or nationalists. I don't remember what they are. They're like conservative nationalists, I think. And we had agreed to some terms, and now we are doing what? Lucian offers to play chess. Lucian offers to play chess. Late in the evening, Lucian extends an invitation for a strategic game of chess with the solemn quiet of the presidential office. Don't play and relax at home with family, or play chess. Well, Lucian's been pretty solid. I assume he's going to have more to do than just play a game of chess. I don't want to play chess, Lucian. Shall we play global thermonuclear warfare? An evening chess match with Lucian Galad. Office of the President, Hull Sword. Evening descended on the capital as Lucian and I found ourselves alone in my office. I followed my chief strategist's eyes to the chessboard on the coffee table. The sight of it reminded me of simpler times, of late-night strategy sessions turning into chess matches. We used to escape the political chaos into a world of rooks and bishops. Our battles were both tense and friendly, a reflection of our long history together. Lucian had always proved a challenging opponent. His strategies, both on the chessboard and in politics, had the same unpredictable edge. A soft knock interrupted my reminiscing. Livia came in with our usual coffee. He noticed the chessboard and smiled. Long nights of strategy planning and now a game of chess? You two never stop thinking, do you? Livia, always a pleasure, even more so when you bring coffee. We might have to order dinner if this game takes as long as the ones we used to play. What's your opinion on chess, Livia? Ever been tempted to learn? We might have to order dinner if this game takes as long as the ones we used to play. I'll keep the Maroon Palace chef on speed dial then. Have a good game, gentlemen. She turned and left the room. Lucian acknowledged her exit with a slight nod, his eyes still fixed on the board. I hope you remember that it's not always the king who holds the power. Sometimes a well-placed pawn can change the game. Isn't that the truth? I've used pawns for some of my best plays. Neither of them hold any real power, Lucian. It's the player who controls them. The power dynamics of a chessboard can teach us a lot about politics. Wouldn't you agree, Lucian? Yeah, kind of leaning towards 3 myself. The power dynamics of a chessboard can teach us a lot about politics. Wouldn't you agree, Lucian? Absolutely. And playing chess with politicians will tell you more about their goals and plans than any speech. As Lucian positioned the pieces on the chessboard, it stirred memories of our early days in the United Swordland Party. His dexterous maneuvering reflected the unseen orchestration that helped Peter and me ascend through the ranks. As the final piece was set into position, the board transformed into a silent battlefield. Shall we get this game underway, Lucian? Indeed, President arraigned. A game of chess is exactly what we need. Which color do you prefer? Black as usual, or white this time? If that's our usual move, then it'll be our usual move. We'll stick with what we know. A strategist's choice. I'm not surprised. The board is yours to react to. With the sides chosen, Lucian sat back, his fingers laced together in contemplation. And thus, the game began. Lucian moved his knight from G1 to F3, aiming for a reti opening. Interesting start, Lucian. Ready? Let's throw in a bit of spice. It's not always about the center, is it? Calling in on his strategy, huh? Control the center. March of the Knight. Sadly, I don't know much about chess. I don't know what this move would be. I assume we're playing in metaphor anyway. Control the center, March of the Knight. Control the center? In response to Lucian's attempt at the ready opening, I advanced my pawn from e7 to e5, aiming to strengthen my grip on the center. A solid move, Mr. Rain. Maintaining control of the center is often key. Lucian's next move was calculated and swift. The bishop guided from f1 to g2, preparing for a potential kingside castle and fortifying the pawn structure. Keep playing and don't comment, opting for a solid defense, Lucian. It's still early to hide behind defenses, isn't it? Your bishop is on the move, I see. Interesting. What's he trying to say here? A feint? And then shore up our defenses? Opting for a solid defense, Lucian? Every castle needs its walls. Press the center. Castle kingside. Might be a good idea to shore up our own defenses. Or we could press the center. Castle? Make it a defensive game on both sides? I'm curious. Let's see. I decided to mirror Lucian's strategy, moving my king to safety. I moved my king 2 squares towards the rook and switched the rook to the other side, completing a kingside castle. With this, the stage was set. The opening maneuvers had transformed into a mid-game battle of wits. Each pawn push, every subtle repositioning, had been a testament to Lucian's strategic prowess and my resilience. The next move would prove crucial. Lucian's queen cut a path through the heart of the board, menacing my vulnerable kingside. Oh, hang on, gonna sneeze. Ugh. Always timed so poorly. The stakes were sky high. A bold pawn advance could release my rook's potential and threaten Lucian's knight. On the other hand, I could gamble with a rummish gambit, a risky play that could wrestle control in the center away from him. Thank you. Appreciate it. Unleash the rook. Attempt a rummish gambit. Unleash the rook, eh? Rook versus knight? Sure. Let's see. With a bold stride, I advanced my pawn, ripping open the F-file. The next move took a knight from Lucian. Ah, the knight. Got his knight. Very good. Hello, welcome. We've only started the chess match. Ah, the new chess match. So this is more new content? Ah. Yes, we've only just started about maybe 10 minutes ago. We more or less just started the chess match here, so yeah, not much. This was after starting our position. I chose black, and then what did we do? We moved to control the center. Then he went to castle, so then we castled as well. And that brought us to here, where we moved the rook out, took his knight, and now here we are. This is also 2.0 content. The match is rather easy if you know stuff about chess. Black, center, and rock. That is a decent start. Shall we taunt him? Or shall we just keep playing without a comment? A daring sacrifice, eh? Only mistake so far was also castling. That knight of yours, a daring sacrifice, Lucy. A sacrifice indeed, but one I'm willing to make. Lucian moved his rook from the corner, adding pressure on my exposed bishop. Lucian had made a bold move, pushing his pawn forward and forcing my bishop into a vulnerable position. While the urge to secure my threatened bishop was strong, an enticing opportunity also lay before me. Potential double attack on Lucian's king and rook. Fork, so divide his attention between protecting his king and his rook. Try and get his rook, or force him into a position where he has to sacrifice, or fortify the bishop. Initiate fork, so basically try and. That's what I was thinking. If we're both castled and he's moving out after losing a knight, which is a pretty major piece, if we can force him to sacrifice more, that would put him at a disadvantage. Because he'd have to divide his attention between making sure his king isn't threatened and trying to keep his rook out of trouble. You can't do both. Eventually, he's going to lose one or the other. That's why I say basic understanding of chess makes this easy. I maneuvered my knight expertly, landing it on a square that posed a double threat to Lucian's king and rook. A daring maneuver under fiery pressure. You're an adept tactician. This is far from over. In response to my knight's threat, Lucian moved out the threat, creating a barrier between my knight and his king. Fire is the test of gold, Lucian. Isn't that what makes the game exciting? Only through fire do we learn the nature of the material. kind of like 4. Only through fire do we learn the nature of the material. 2 sounds a little too poetic, a little too flowery, and almost self-gratifying. 3 is also a good answer. Isn't that what makes the game exciting? Yeah, I think it's a coin flip between 3 and 4 for me. I think these are both kind of good answers. We'll go with 4. Only through fire do we learn about the nature of the material. Exploit the back rank. Pioneer Pawn March. So what was his last move? He moved out the threat, creating a barrier between my knight and his king. So Pawn March or exploit the back rank. So that would be what? Moving the queen and other pieces out? Pioneer Pawn March. So Pawn March would be us trying to move the pawns up. But he's castled, so wouldn't it be a little early to go try and march pawns? 1 means taking his rook and threatening him from behind. Oh, okay. Okay, so you mean his back rank. So, okay. Yeah, I'm not the best at chess, but I'm thinking a pawn march would be bad here to try and get a pawn up. Because trying a march with a pawn? Nah, I wouldn't do that. I would keep my pawn ranks intact to maintain the integrity of our castle. I moved my rook to the last rank, threatening Lucian's king with a potential back rank checkmate. Clever, President Rain. But did you consider all the consequences? The center was congested, a testament to Lucian's unyielding style. His formation was formidable, his pieces interlocked in a matrix of support, each protecting the other while simultaneously projecting threats across the board. It was my move, and the game had entered its final stages. Lucian's queen was uncomfortably close, radiating danger. I had only a few paths before me. Lucian's king stood vulnerable, but a risky move could leave my own king exposed. However, seizing the opportunity seemed worth the risk. In the community, there are 3 different known ways to beat Lucian in chess. Offense, offense, and more offense. So what are moves we got here? So decoy the queen. Or reinforce the king. So if his queen is radiating danger, I would lean towards, Yeah, I'd probably lean towards wanting to control as well. Because if you move back to reinforce, and this is just how I naturally would play, if you move back to reinforce, that leaves you vulnerable to her just coming in and picking off pieces. Once you start down that route, you're going to have to try and keep up with attrition, and that's no good. If you decoy, that can potentially force a player into a different position. So that would be naturally what I would lean towards anyway. We'll decoy. I boldly moved my queen, placing it in a position that exposed Lucian's king to a potential checkmate. A daring choice, President. It seems the end is near. If Lucian overlooked the threat I posed, victory would be mine. If he identified the trap, the game could stretch on, but the advantage would be mine. Well played. But it's not over yet. Lucian, caught in my trap, tried to navigate his king out of the danger zone. Despite Lucian's attempt to wriggle out, his king was trapped. My queen delivered the final blow, spelling a checkmate. The game was over, and I had won. Hey, we won! If you play black, you have to be offensive. If white, defensive. And then there is a clusterfuck way that just confuses Lucian. just strategies just all over the place. Go American military strategy. The enemy can't figure out what we're planning if we don't know what we're planning. It seems the king is cornered, Lucian. Good game. Indeed, Mr. Rayan. Played well. Congratulations. We learn more from our mistakes. Lucian and I slowly began to dismantle the chessboard, each piece carefully placed back into its protective casing. Lucian's eyes bore a far-off look. Perhaps he was replaying the match within his mind. He picked up a knight, turned it over in his hand thoughtfully. A difficult game in chess. The constant threats and counter-threats take me back to some similarly challenging times. Sounds like you've had quite the complicated past. Was there a particular challenge that still resonates? Threats and counter-threats. Your past seems a lot more interesting than mine. Kind of like 2. They all kind of show interest, but 2, I think, is more like asking for specificity. This kind of leaves the door open, so he'd just answer whatever. My past seems more interesting than mine. Oh, I think my past has been plenty interesting. Was there a particular challenge that still resonates? We all have our pasts, Mr. President. Mine happen to involve many moves and counter-moves, each with its own consequences. Moves and counter-moves, so you've seen your share of conflict. Were these consequences a part of the Old Kingdom's final years, Lucian? I'm kind of leaning towards 2. Yeah, let's go with 2. Yes, Mr. President. Those were trying times for Swordland, and like many others, I was caught in the crossfire of those tumultuous years. A shadow seemed to pass over Lucien's eyes, a hint of the turmoil that still lingered in his memory. I certainly don't wish to delve into matters that might unsettle you. Caught in the crossfire? Were you in the military? Well, weren't we all expected to serve in the military? Except for maybe people that were lucky enough to have exemptions, but I don't even know if they had those. What sort of conflicts are we talking about? Let's be polite. I certainly don't wish to delve into matters that might unsettle you. I've reconciled with my past and set it aside. It is not my intent to withhold information from you, but I believe we should focus on the future of Swordland and leave its history where it belongs. On that note, it's time for me to depart. I thoroughly enjoyed our match tonight, Mr. President. Indeed, the game was a great pleasure, Lucian. Safe travels home. As did I. The game was enlightening, as it was entertaining. That's very gracious of you. Quiet, you. Win or lose, there's always something to be learned from a round of chess. Good night, Mr. President. As Lucian exited the room, the memories of our game lingered, as did the enigmatic aura of the man himself. Well, that was fun. What's next? Meeting with Albin Clavin on planned reforms. Albin Clavin's office, Grand National Assembly of Swordland. After our meeting with Gloria Tori, and further discussions with the party and my cabinet, it was time to talk to Albin Clavin to get the reformist wing to support the proposal. I also plan to finally present a more fleshed out proposal and declare our agenda to the party after our meeting. I walked into the left wing of the assembly and entered the quarters of the USP. When I reached the meeting hall, I saw many of our members conversing inside. After taking a glimpse inside, I went back into the corridor to look for the office of Albin Clavin, which was around the back of the place. When I reached his room, I knocked on his door and entered. Mr. President, welcome. Clavin, aka the cuck. Listen, just whatever he does in his time, that's fine, I guess. Clavin, cuck. Just don't let that name get around, and if you, I never heard it. The whole room was surrounded by bookshelves packed with files, and papers. It was a small office with books and dossier lying on every corner. It felt claustrophobic. On his gesture, I took a seat. How is everything going, Mr. Clavin? It's been busy. The party has been working very hard, Mr. President. Thank you for asking. How is it going for you in the palace? Also, his name is obviously Calvin. I seriously don't know why devs did that. Lie to him. Tell him I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. That's great to hear. I wanted to express my gratitude for passing the Workers' Rights Act. It is one of my most comprehensive and successful political efforts.
The workers' revolution will begin with small steps, comrade.
It was the right thing to do because our workers were suffering for decades. The party effort had to be supported. You and I see eye to eye on many subjects, including this one. No matter what you do, he will bow before you. Oh, that's why you called him a cuck. Party effort had to be supported. It wouldn't be possible without Pascal's Benioff's support. The Labor Union and several NGOs like Magnus Cartus also contributed to the campaigning. I have to say, the close collaboration between the palace and party is going well. Looking forward to what we can accomplish with the reform. Albin smiled and knocked on wood. Anyway, sir, let's talk about the proposal. Thanks for coming here for my input, because there are some subjects where Gloria and I don't see eye to eye. I have to say that most of the progressives were already starting to warm up to you. Your attempt at changing the Constitution created quite a bit of excitement. One could dare say an excitement that hasn't been felt since the 30s. I've read the proposal, and that was finalized together with Miss Tory, and surprisingly, it came out pretty good. Look, Mr. President, I'm on the same side as you. I won't create any problems. That's good to know. Thank you, Mr. Calvin. Any help from you is much appreciated. That's what I wanted to hear. He looked down at the proposal. It's looking good. I will support the proposal and get the needed signatures from our wing. I believe the reformist votes that I have will be very important to you. Who knows? Maybe you'll consider me for a job in the government in the future for this. Fishing for work, eh? One? Really? You bet I will, Mr. Cuck. Good to know, Mr. President. I will talk to my guys shortly. I'll have their signatures soon. Don't botch it, asshole. Just promise him never fulfill. Dan, really going for the cuck route, are we? Thank you, Mr. Calvin Clavin. And see you in the conference, Mr. President. I left his room and went back into the corridor. The meeting had exhausted me. I went to the restaurant of the assembly to get something to eat while conversing with other members of our party. I saw Albin talking to his people in the distance. After a while, the preparations for the conference began, and I went back into the conference hall and prepared my notes for the speech I was going to make. It took time to get all of the present members of the party inside the hall. Gloria Tory announced me from the stand. I walked up to the stand as everybody in the room started clapping. Yes, so then everybody stood and clapped. The meme brain rot. Ladies and gentlemen of the party, dear members of assembly, brothers and sisters of United Swordland, dear members of assembly, I came here today to announce the agenda for the future of our country. I started my speech with the reasons of the changes to the Constitution. The people of Swordland have spoken. Our system and institutions have increasingly become undemocratic. The Supreme Court is blocking the future of Swordland. That last one seems a little unnecessarily aggressive. I blame modern politics for making me hate the word democracy and democratic. At least in America, it's so overused. If you have no familiarity with how people, politicians and the media speak in America, they use democracy for everything. We've never been a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. Always have been, always will be. In fact, I don't think there's actually a single surviving pure democracy anywhere. I don't even know if there have been any successful ones that have been around for any period of time outside of maybe something that existed back in the Bronze Age. You do know that the democracy is just a Greek word for republic. Yes, semantically that is correct, but it is clear how people use it. They mean mass rule, not rule by representative sort of means and ways. So when a lot of people say it, they're not speaking of a republic. They're speaking of essentially mob rule by the 51%. So yes, you are correct. Really go aggressive against the Supreme Court. Wouldn't that piss them off? Don't we need them to vote with us? Yeah, American politics are screwed. Calling people that are anti-gun and anti-capitalism liberal, let alone should be a crime. Yeah. The amount of political reality that the average person knows could probably fit on the head of a pin and leave room for every other thought they have. Nia will vote. So 3 then? Blame the Supreme Court, huh? Well, I don't think it's entirely on the Supreme Court. Two seems to share the blame with the whole system rather than locking in on one particular aspect of it. One weird thing in this game is only in the authoritarian dictatorial route can you grant gun rights in the Supreme Court. Two? So we like two? That is really weird. That would probably be one of the first things moving towards a more representative democracy or republic, depending on which word you want. Definitely not the democracy that all of the people on the TV like to talk about, but an actual of the people, by the people, for the people sort of nation. Having gun rights would probably be an incredibly important thing. Okay. 2 seems to be our vote, so we'll go with 2. Oh, damn it. There's that alarm again. Hang on, I gotta go switch that thing off or it's gonna be going off for the next 45 minutes. Okay, sorry about that. I'm eventually either going to have to turn that thing off completely or set it to a more regular time that I wake up at. But I guess for now that'll work. Our system and institutions have increasingly become undemocratic over the decades after Sol tightened his grip on the country. Since then, we have a Supreme Court that obstructs the duties of the President and the Assembly. We must finally be brave enough to go against the status quo that they created and write a new Constitution. Oh, so you just call out the Supreme Court either way. Guy paused. I paused when some people started clapping, but it was short-lived. After taking a breath, I continued. Talk about democracy, talk about why USP needs to survive the next election, target the old guard and the Supreme Court. What's weird is that the dictator route just unlocks crazy dictator options. You don't have to use them. If you want, you can full constitutional republic in the dictator route. So we'd be like what's his name? Gaddafi? We're a dictator, but we're more of a modern country. That is pretty weird. What are the points of the Constitution? No, you can do the same Constitution as you do right now. That's crazy, but you're still a dictator. That's strange. That's incredibly strange. It is just called dictator route. You are still just the president. I'm leaning towards 1. We've already mentioned the Supreme Court. No need to make more enemies than we have to. The time will come to fight these factions. That's a little self-serving, as just thinking of ourselves. And obviously we need to, but yeah, we'll go with 1. I brought attention to democracy and why we must write a more democratic constitution. I explained how our proposal will fix the issues. The left side of the hall where Albin sat started applauding. Later, I explained the contents of the new constitution and asked for their full support for the proposal. Order threaten them to vote yes. Well, we're not being a dictator, so we'll ask for their votes. I asked for each and every member's vote to make a change together. The reformist wing on the left stood up and started clapping loudly after Albin Clavin made a sign. Soon after, most of the party members stood up and joined in. I saluted everybody in the room one last time and bid them farewell before leaving the stand. I walked outside the assembly and back into the palace. Have shitty, no allies, and have a bad military? Wait, you can actually get involved in a war and lose it? This game's pretty cool. Oh, I just click continue, I see. Balance of power in Eastern Mercopa. Ooh, we got 2 exclamation points. Religious Harmony Bill. And the report. Arcasia offers aid. Interesting. They want Air Force access, eh? How do we know we can trust them? Wait, aren't we trying to work with the Arcasians? Where was Arcasia? West? Let's see what they offer. Arcasian Foreign Minister Laurent Martel has proposed an extensive aid package for Swordland. This package includes financial assistance, logistical support, and equipment aid. In return, Arcasia seeks refueling and repair access at Swordland's Erloy Air Force Base, in addition to occasional flyover rights in Sword's airspace. Arcasian President Dwight Walker has personally assured us this agreement aims for peaceful objectives. Hey, that helps us with the budget, doesn't it? Nice. Yeah, I'm thinking yes. I don't know if there's a reason not to. ATL. Sure. Hey, now we're only at -3. We're making progress, boys. Read the report. Ministry of Health discusses privatization. The Ministry of Health has begun working on a health report with a proposal to allow privatization in the health system to potentially generate new resources for the ministry. Minister Bennywall is personally overseeing the discussion and the report with top aides, including members from the National Business Council. The Religious Harmony Bill, eh? Let's see what we've got here. The RHB bill... Oh, this is just for our signature, isn't it? What have you guys done? In an endeavor to promote religious harmony and unity, the Grand National Assembly introduces the Religious Harmony Bill, RHB, establishing regulations for religious affairs across Swordland. Section 1 of the RHB mandates that all sermons conducted during the Day of Dissension ceremony at Arch Sanctuary of Dare will henceforth be held in Swordish language. This move is aimed at promoting inclusivity and common understanding among worshippers. Section 2 of the RHB regulates that the language of sermons and other sanctuaries across Swordland. It prohibits the use of Blutish for sermons unless explicit approval has been obtained from the Archpriest of Swordland. This measure ensures consistency and unity in religious practices across the country. Section 3 of the RHB sets forth new regulations for priests seeking state-sanctioned positions. It requires that all applicants must have Swordish lineage to be eligible for their salaries and pensions. This criterion ensures a deeper connection with Swordland's cultural heritage among the religious leaders of this country. So basically, it's like a nationalist bill. So they have to speak Swordish. They have to be approved by Swordish leadership. And they can't speak Blutish unless given special permissions. 1. Do your sermons in our language. 2. Ask us before you do a sermon. 3. Priests can no longer touch I must have missed that part in section 3, not DL. The bill used to be pure evil. Racist bill. I don't know, it still seems kind of racist to me. I did not hear it, so I got innovative. The bill used to be hyper racist. I don't know, still... Quiet you. Quiet you. Quiet you. Quiet all of you. You heard nothing? Nothing? I'm leaning towards vetoing. It still seems like kind of a fucked up bill. Yeah, they can only speak and worship in the Swordish language. Regulates the language of sermons and sanctuaries, prohibits use of Blutish, and seeks regulations for priests. All applicants must have Swordish. And this right here, I don't like because it should the state be regulating religion? It is true. The Blutish are organizing terrorists. That's actually a good point because we did hear about that at the beginning of part 1, wasn't it? The rumors of them being terrorists or using the temples to recruit terrorists. The bill is still bad for freedom. But it creates many friends in Parliament. My natural answer would be to veto. Waylon is 1 to 1. Sign it? It's kind of racist, though, isn't it? Sign the racism bill. So less freedom, more racism. Toss a coin? I don't have my coin. I don't have any of my coins. I actually do have specific flipping coins, but I don't have any of them near me. Is there anything I can use to flip a coin? As a coin to flip. What happens if you go full Nazi? Is it game over? Well, according to Baron, you can go full-on dictator, and all it really does is unlock some really funny dialogue. Being racist in this game sadly pays. Full Nazi, you can do some horrifying things. Things to look into for future playthroughs. We'll go veto this time, and in a future run we'll do the signature. We'll go full Nazi at one point, so we'll save that. We'll save the signing the racist bill for the full Nazi run. Private party at the Gentleman's Club. Peter Elroy. Briefing on the status of immigration regulation. Oh, let's hear about it. Full Nazi speedrun. We were in the middle of the meeting. We were in the middle of a meeting in the palace about our immigration policy. The ensuing discussion quickly became heated.
I don't think so, Mr. Weesey. It just doesn't make any sense to me that a foreign citizen should come before a Swordish citizen in Swordland.
Well said. My analysis is also in line with this. Especially during the economic recession, we are giving Swordish jobs to migrants from other countries. What about our own people?
Immigrants are the reason our economy is not completely unsalvageable. Look at Agnolian immigrants in England. They've revitalized the whole region and in turn boosted the economy of the entire country. Simon can attest to that.
Statistically speaking, allowing immigrants to become part of the workforce contributes to our economy. But I agree that the current situation is very nuanced. With that said, we can't just tighten our immigration policy and expect the economy to stay the same. We need to put our economy in the recession at the forefront. Thankfully, we have just started receiving financial aid from Arcasia.
And then what? We'll become their servants? First they'll place their warplanes in Erloy, and their armies will come. You will see. I do not approve of this decision at all.
I will not let you question my decisions, Yosef. Don't be dramatic. We need to be friendly with our potential allies. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I have done this with Swordish citizens in mind and nothing else. Opposition disappears, Constitution makes you the highest law-making institution. Crazy game, crazy game. I've done this with Swordish citizens in mind, nothing else.
That's how they take over countries, you know.
Mr. Lancia has a point. We've seen it happen many times.
Gentlemen, can we please get back on topic?
Right. Sorry, Mr. Weesey.
As I was saying before I was interrupted, look at the superpowers. Do you see them closing off their borders? Why do you think their economies are in such good shape? They are in their current state because they welcome immigration and use it to their advantage.
No, we need to build a wall and make Arcasia pay for it. We need to modernize and reach the level of the superpowers. I agree that we need to consider the economic impact of immigration. Sort of citizens must come first. And no matter what you do, there's always this game called Allstron. We need to modernize and reach the level of the superpowers.
I'm of the same mind. It is proven that immigration helps countries to develop, and we cannot just deport our current immigrants. We need a decision. But before we move on, Mr. President, do you have any questions about the current state of immigration?
Just choose number 4. A socially awkward president run someday. What is the current legal status of immigrants? How many immigrants live in Swordland? How do immigrants usually arrive here? How do they get here?
There are 3 major paths they choose. The first one is the England to Agnolia border. The second is Bergia to Wayland border. And the third is the Loren coast. Agnolians are the largest group. It is a light border over there, although recently political fugitives from Vogsland have been crossing the Grey Sea by boat to land on our coast.
Wait. So Vogsland is Cuba? They're escaping Cuba?
Politically persecuted. Why is that refugees tend to use dangerous mountain passes at the Wayland border? Many of them also have bluish blood. This is significantly increasing the blood population inside Bergia.
How many immigrants live in Swordland?
Official numbers show that we have anywhere between 2 to 3 million immigrants residing in Swordland.
Even excluding the countless undocumented aliens in our midst, that is a very substantial amount. The primary issue is the strife they cause between the less fortunate Swordish citizens and themselves.
Including them in the workforce would benefit everybody, including unemployed swords. More taxes means more services. Currently, all accepted immigrants are given a work permit on arrival so that they can work and contribute to the economy of Swordland. There is currently no limit on the number of immigrants accepted. However, the number has remained stable over the past years. Despite the laws and the fact that many immigrants legally work for corporations, that is the main issue with immigration right now, not the immigration itself.
Nonsense. If not for the unlimited amount of immigration, we wouldn't be in this state.
Let's move on and see what can be done about the immigration situation.
Very well. David Weesey opened his dossier, stamped with the seal of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Valgsland, more like Yugoslavia, but as an island nation. Before we make any decisions, I have to remind you. During the elections, we promised to tighten immigration laws. Of course, as you know, I was, and I still am against it. I agree with David. We can turn immigration to our advantage from a financial standpoint. Advantage? You should go over the amount of disadvantage caused by immigrants. I can provide you with a report from my ministry later. Believe me, it would surprise you. We need to keep our promises and focus on our own citizens. That is what I think. David sighed wearily. This is going nowhere. If we decide to tighten immigration, what does that entail? We would have to impose quotas, and connected to that, stricter border control. On top of allowing our economy to take a hit. Mr. Hall, surely the well-being of our citizens and our internal security will more than compensate for any downturn in the markets. Agreed. Swedish citizens should take priority. What are the consequences of keeping our immigration policy relaxed? Aside from keeping us on the path to prosperity, modernity, and continuous improvement, not much. Our current system is good for our era. We also have the capacity. This will allow us to continue protecting investments from foreign countries, which in turn will keep our trade steady. We would be more trustworthy partners. Stability draws money. Stability? What stability? We are already seeing clashes between our people and foreign interlopers. On the contrary, the only way we can achieve stability is through tightening our immigration policy. You heard the lady. Swordland first. I am ready to make a decision. Yes? Everyone leaned forward, eager to hear my response. We will outlaw pineapple on pizza. Under penalty of death, any citizen, national Swedish blood descendant or otherwise, will face the firing squad for putting pineapples on pizza. We'll keep immigration laws relaxed. We'll tighten our immigration laws. I'll sign the degree soon, so be prepared to start working on it, Mr. Weesey. So, economy or border security. But we did promise in the campaign to secure borders as well. So, why so hateful towards Pizza Hawaii? There's one that puts pineapple on its pizza. Get him up against the wall. Immigration doesn't help with the economy. Interesting. So I could stick with this campaign promise then. Immigration helps England but hurts Bergia. Oh, that's right. Cause they're didn't we talk to them earlier too about like they want us to secure the border.
So this nation, yeah, I remember. Okay, so this was like at the beginning in part 1. They want us to secure the border here so that they don't have a lot of people leaving Bergia into our lands. And England, we're already helping them with a road. Bergia to Wayland border. Yeah, so they're trying to secure what, this whole stretch here? Actually, what do our national borders look like? Okay, yeah, so they want us to secure this entire like this area. No, Bergia to Wayland border. Ah. Oh, the other side. Sorry. So there, they want us to secure this, or we can allow England. But aren't we already helping them out by building the H3 highway? So I think we can actually probably. I think we can probably actually safely sign the border security law. I'm kind of leaning towards it, despite what David said. I don't know. What do you think? What does chat think? Close borders? David's advice is okay, but not that good. You promised. Alright. It is unfortunate to see Swordland move in this direction, but I trust you have good intentions. I'll move ahead with the implementation. This has the chance to affect our trade negotiations with Agnolia negatively. They expect us to respect the flow of people. Indeed, it will be a challenge to convince these countries as they see our borders close. Not only that, we've already slighted Wayland in the past. They might see this as a return to the 30s, which will definitely affect our negotiations. I wouldn't worry about that too much. With how Wayland is dealing with the British terrorists, I would argue that President Smolak would beg us to tighten our immigration. With that said, I don't fancy Wayland as a partner since they are reliable as flopping fish out of water. I'm against isolationism. It is the wrong path. This is not about isolating Swordland, but protecting it. We can't let international policy be decided by foreigners. Swordland always comes first. The decision has been made. Let's look past it. This is not about isolating Swordland, but protecting it. This will isolate us in every way. The more we are connected to the world, the better. The world is entering the age of globalization. This decision will make us stay behind. Anything else that needs to be said? Let's end this discussion and get to work. There are changes to be made. The ministers gathered their documents and rose from their chairs, some with frowns on their faces.
I'm looking forward to the upcoming trade talks. Peter and I have been visiting Stallport and Raklowitz in preparation. I'll be coming along to talk with the economy minister, looking forward to the potential partnership.
If we are finished, I need to head off and get the ministry to work on the new policy.
Same here. Our border units need to be informed and prepared.
Keep up the good work. The ministers dispersed. Peter, what have you been up to? Far from becoming accustomed to my workload as president, I only felt more and more snowed in under as the week passed. It had been ages since I had any time to myself. I was starting to lose my focus. My temper was growing, increasingly thin. Peter was the first to realize I needed a break. After much cajoling, he finally persuaded me to come to a meeting of his new venture, Gentlemen's Club. A gentleman's club or a gentleman's club? For the past few months, he'd been hosting a salon of sorts. Not just for politicians and businessmen, but also for artists, entertainers, people of taste, he told me, with a smile on his face. Oh, please don't turn into Epstein. There was only one rule. No wives or girlfriends allowed, hence the name. Oh, okay. Just a bunch of dudes. And so I found myself in front of this new luxury villa in Erlory. Very loud jazz music emanated from inside. I waited and waited. Finally, Peter opened the door. I could smell the whiskey on his breath. Really, Peter?
Oh, Todd. Finally. Now the real party can start. Come on in.
And as soon as I entered, Peter closed the door and turned to the small crowd.
Gentlemen, a minute of your time, please. I now have the privilege to present you the man himself. The fourth president of Swordland, Mr. Anton Rain.
I'd known him long enough to understand that he was more than a little drunk. He made an elaborate mock curtsy, and I passed him and walked into the room. The music stopped, and I felt everyone's eyes on me.
Damn!
Just do your friend like that, huh? Thank you, Peter. What's next? The choir, a march. Wow, those are both kind of rude. Let's be political and polite. Nah, he's just Clinton, not Epstein. Good evening. Peter nodded at me and turned to the attendees.
Dear members, please give a warm welcome to our very special guest. If I may, Anton, here, take this.
He handed me a glass of whiskey and put his hand on my shoulder.
We all know why we're gathered here tonight, to celebrate life, to have a brief escape from our tumultuous professions. I personally don't know any better cure for stress than a little drink.
Only a little one? I'll drink to that. I raised my glass, and the rest of the crowd followed.
Now, the tradition dictates that as the club president, I have to remind you of our house rules. There are 3. No politics. No wives. No one sober. Cheers!
Peter drank the whiskey in his glass in one go.
Damn, dude.
Trying to give himself alcohol poisoning. I'm gonna sip on it and see if I can get him to pass out. I took a sip from my whiskey.
Anton Rain might have the power to make presidential degrees, but I, Peter Vector, the president of this club now, declare this party started. Music! Go!
The band started up again. After greeting the crowd around me, I felt a hand on my shoulder.
Let me show you around.
We walked through the corridors of his mansion. Statues and paintings lined the stark white walls. An arched window provided a view of neatly manicured grounds, complete with a swimming pool. A grand lesbian marble staircase led up to the second story. Peter gestured at the massive crystal chandelier hanging overhead.
That chandelier was made in the 18th century. Can you believe it? There's even a hedge maze in the garden.
An 18th century chandelier, a hedge maze? A little much, isn't it? How are you paying for all this? What's the story behind the chandelier? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, welcome back. A little much, isn't it?
Come on, Anton. You only live once.
I'll let you in on a little secret. Gus Meyer has a lot of contacts in real estate. He brokered an amazing price for me.
He'll also be here tonight, by the way.
Why am I not surprised? Gus, the wheeler and dealer, would be right at home at a party like this. Maybe Gus is Epstein. Perfect. I've been looking for a chance to speak with him about investment opportunities. What did you promise him in return? Living in a lavish mansion while my country suffers is not for me. Didn't we snub that Gus guy like twice? And now we're talking about wanting to talk with him about investment opportunities? Kind of curious if anything was promised from Peter. What did you promise him in return?
Only my money.
We continued walking until we circled back to where we'd started.
Oh. What do you think of my little hideaway?
Not bad. Not bad at all. It's amazing. I'd hardly call it a hideaway. More like a palace.
Frankly, I find it disgusting, sir.
Okay. I think Peter's having enough problems without me being a jerk to him. We're supposed to be friends. It's amazing, but I'd hardly call it hideaway. More like a palace.
It definitely doesn't rival yours. Anyway, let's get back to the party.
I arranged for some caviar to be brought in from Lesbia. You're gonna love it. He opened the door to the main hall, and we rejoined the other guests. The music was louder now, and the mood decidedly more inebriated. Cocktail waitresses were carrying around plates of canapes, wearing dresses that left little to the imagination. So he's like running the he's like a cross between like Clinton and Hugh Hefner. He's got him running around in bunny outfits, complete with fishnet stockings and high heels. Peter's only problem is that all he does is drinking and spending time with those women who aren't his wife. I thought this was a gentleman's club. Gesture at one of the waitresses to come over. So, this is what you've been hiding for, Evelyn. Dang. Man, I could see a complete jerk playthrough would be hilariously fun. Just be a jerk to everybody. Be a jerk or socially awkward. 3, just do it. I don't know, man. That's kind of messed up. We're supposed to be friends. How am I gonna do him like that? I thought this was a gentleman's club. The intrusive thoughts. So, this is what you've been hiding from Evelyn. No one is hiding anything. She knows how important it is for men like us to blow off steam once in a while. He averted his gaze for a second before calling over one of the waitresses. She was in her mid-20s, wearing red lipstick, her blonde hair neatly tied into a ponytail. On her plate were toast points slathered in lesbian caviar Peter had mentioned. I took a bite. It was rich, salty, tasting of pure seaside. I could almost hear the sound of waves and seagulls. Lesbian caviar. Best in the world. I'm telling you, man. There are few pleasures in life. This. As the waitresses left us to serve another attendee, she flashed a quick smile at Peter over her shoulder. He smiled back, a little too broadly. Sensual. His eyes were still fixed on her, with an expression I remembered from our many nights out together as students. Oh, look, there's Gus. Why don't you go talk to him? I'll be back in a minute. Peter, I'm warning you, don't make a mistake. Why do I get the impression he's already made that mistake and we are way too late there? Then again, our administration doesn't need any scandals either. So if I haven't heard anything about any impropriety, well, it doesn't mean that there hasn't been any, but if there's any way to avoid it, we probably should. Where are you going? Caviar? No, I have not ever had caviar. It's fish eggs, isn't it? Isn't that what caviar is? Fish eggs? I mean, I've had sushi, genuine sushi in Japan.
straight from the dock, actually. We ate at a place that's down, I forget what district, what city it was. But it's one of the major places, possibly the place, I don't know. I'm assuming since it's an island nation, there's lots of harbors where they unload sushi, but one of the ones where they get a lot of traffic for their fish and whatnot. We had some sushi down there. I tried some of that rose salmon, which is basically just fish eggs. Fish eggs, and I believe it was fish eggs and meat. So fish eggs, fish meat, and then the usual rice and the seaweed wrap. Wasn't too wild about it. I wasn't grossed out by it. I don't know, it was kind of weird. I would have thought I would have had more of a reaction to it, but no, it was just like squishy poppy things. It's just like when you're chewing, you know, the eggs, they in your mouth. Caviar is expensive as fuck and not that good. Sushi tastes well, and well expensive is an okay price. Yeah, I mean, that tends to be the way with a lot of rich people things. It's not necessarily that it's all that much better than the stuff you might have as a mid to lower class person. It's simply that it's a show of wealth, you know. Then it's a lot of those things are more about the status symbol than they are about how good they actually are. Case in point, iPhones, right? Everyone makes a big deal about iPhones and they act like it's so embarrassing to have like an Android phone, but ultimately they both do exactly the same thing. The iPhone exists as a status symbol, as a means to say, hey, look, I'm carrying around like a $5,000 piece of equipment in my pocket. If anything, me personally, I find it a little bit intrusive as far as everything has to go through the Apple Store, everything has to be compatible with the Apple Store, blah 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 blah. So, yeah, I'm on board with the rich people stuff being highly overrated. That is something only stupid Americans do. The rest of the world, you would get laughed at if you brag about having an iPhone. Well, to be perfectly honest, bragging about any sort of smart technology at this point, since it's so ubiquitous. I mean, there's probably poorer nations that have smartphones, so, I mean, at a time when not everyone was carrying around a cell phone, much less a smartphone, it might be impressive. But again, it's just the brand name for incredibly vapid people. Where are you going? Oh, just the washroom. See you shortly. He left the room and I headed over to Gus. Gus Manger was standing next to a couple of men that I recognized as banking industry magnates. As I approached, all of them turned to me and bowed their heads. Mr. President, a toast to our new member, everyone. Gus and I clinked our glasses as the people around us raised theirs. You don't seem surprised at all to see me here. That's because Peter told me you were going to come. He also told me that you might be interested in potential opportunities such as, well, this. He opened his arms, gesturing at our opulent surroundings. Let's take a walk. The balcony has an amazing view of Elroy. We left the room and made our way back to the balcony. On the way, he took out 2 cigars and held one out for me.
Me running around with an S5 and still have almost the same functions as people with an iPhone. What is it now, 23? I don't even keep up with it. Me personally, I upgrade my phone to the newest thing every like 5 or more years when the one that I have starts breaking down, and that's about it. And that's even assuming that I can't find a repair shop to fix it. I have an old S6? I think it was S6. And I had that since it was new, and I ran that thing until last year. Well, let's be polite. Should we take the cigar and hear the man out? Or should we be rude? I have an S31. Well, it's just a cigar, right? Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. I took the cigar and started smoking it, mixed with the taste of whiskey. It was delicious. Actually, I do enjoy the occasional cigar. This is a funny thing about me, a funny personal thing. I don't smoke. I don't smoke cigarettes. I've only ever had occasionally a cigarette every now and again to be polite. I've never liked it. I just don't like it. Cigars, though, that's a little different. Because cigars, it's not about inhaling nicotine in order to get a fix. It's more like just sort of tasting the smoke and the flavor of it. And it's not even something I do all that often. Like, I'll have a cigar maybe once every couple of years or so, unless, you know, for whatever reason I'm really craving them. Not even really craving, just in the habit. And even then, it's like maybe once a month, once every 2 or 3 months, something like that. Not a lot. I don't smoke a lot. I think I had one when I moved into my new house, and I have not had one since then, so it's been almost over 2 years. We went out to the balcony. All of Urlori was at our feet. From this vantage point, I was able to see how expensive the building plot was. The swimming pool and the hedge maze were visible from here. Leaning over the railing, I admired the view for a moment before Gus spoke up. I know you're wondering about the deal Peter made. In a nutshell, thanks to my network, he was able to procure this house for half the asking price, which would have been impossible under any other circumstances. I would be delighted to discuss a similar arrangement with you. In fact, I prepared a document with my own personal favorite opportunities. Your willingness to invest in Gassam showed you were a man after my own heart. I'd love to talk about how my network can benefit you personally. Not looking to make any investments at the moment. What's in it for you? I'm glad my investment decisions are paying off. Thank you. Three seems to be the more polite and political answer. That's kind of rude. I'm sure if he's got something in mind, he'll ask for it. That's just accepting it. That's snubbing him. Yeah, let's be polite. Costs you nothing to be polite.
Cheers to investments paying off, then.
He downed his whiskey. Let's talk about the details, then. Gus opened his briefcase and pulled out a thin dossier. He showed it to me.
My first offer is, of course, real estate. There is a vineyard close to Earlery, about a 1-hour drive from here. It also includes a very large villa. Beautiful plot, but rather neglected, so there would be a fair amount of renovation costs. On the bright side, you would be able to produce your own wine. Previous owner was Geralt of Ribbery, a well-renowned vintner. There is also the option of a football partnership. I already own a large portion of FC Enrica, and I am doing my best to make them champions. Buying in would be more expensive than the vineyard, but this season will bring a lot of returns. I'm quite positive. Give me the word, and I will start the procurement process. But we must act quickly, as these options might soon disappear off the market.
I'm surprised that he even gives you those two options. Football? That's gonna take all of our money. Third possible option is to buy Underhall stocks. I'm assuming that we would either need more available funding or have made different choices. Probably don't have enough wealth to invest in the stocks, do we? Football sounds exciting. I'll invest in FC Enrica. The vineyard in Ellery. I always wanted to have my own wine, and it sounds peaceful and quiet. Actually, that does sound kind of fun. He doesn't give them to you because you raised taxes. Ah, I see. It was a choice then. It was the business stuff, wasn't it? Yep. That's why he was talking about gas. He's still sore about that. It's all right. It's all right, Gus. You're still attempting to help me out. Kind of leaning towards football then, as long as it's not going to completely bankrupt us permanently. I'm assuming these are all on the up and up. Underhaul is an option you only get with hyper pro-business policies. I'm surprised you even get these two options. I think I'm gonna go with football. Anybody have a problem with football? If not, we're gonna go with the football team. They don't really like the tax hikes. Well, I imagine not. Football it is. But you could use the money. I could use the money from what? The football investment or from keeping it? Let's go with the football. FC Enrica. Achievement unlocked. Invest in FC Enrica. Excellent. I will start the process right away. Now, if you'll excuse me, Mr. President. They left to rejoin the party. Alone on the balcony, I looked out over Erlery. Suddenly, I heard rustling from the hedge maze below. Oh no. Oh no, we're about to see something bad, aren't we? I looked down and saw a silhouette. 2 silhouettes, actually. So close together they seemed to be entangled. I squinted and tried to get a better look. That was definitely 2 people kissing, but I couldn't see either of their faces. Oh, we're about to see something. I returned to the party and spent some time mingling with the other guests, engaging them in small talk about their businesses, their children, their relationships. I realized it had been a while since Peter left. I looked around but couldn't find him. Instead, my eyes landed on Ewald Alfonso. With a smile, the former president walked over to meet me. Mr. Alfonso, I didn't know you were a member of Peter's club. Isn't this a party like this a little low class for a man like you? You know the rules, no politics. Mr. President, is that an empty glass I see in your hand? You possibly need money for donations. Is this new? Number 4, I think, is a little friendly. That's a little. I mean, it depends on what kind of relationship and how he would take that. That could be mean. That could be funny if he has a good sense of humor. I didn't know you were a member of Peter's club. You know the rules, and so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and hurt you. Alfonso is pre 2.0 only in the intro, and if you trial soul. Let's be cordial. Mr. President, is that an empty glass I see in your hand? I'm trying to pace myself. Gus and I split a bottle of Rizian wine over dinner before heading here. I saw you speaking to Mr. Manga earlier. We talked, yes. It's always nice to get to know one's ministers outside of the ruined palace. We had a good chat together back in Nabel, as I recall, resulting in your very wise decision to invest swordish money in Gasson. We're seeing growing interests from international investors, by the way. I'm optimistic about the results of Sordlin's investments. Terrific. I'm looking forward to a big payoff. I'm glad that Sordlin could help your company thrive. Enjoy our bailout, Mr. Alfonso. It'll be your only... Wow. Damn. Damn. You could be a real dick in some of these dialogue choices. Like, yeah, we bailed your ass out. Don't fucking expect it to happen again, bitch. Can I throw my whiskey in his face too? Terrific. I'm looking forward to a big payoff.
I can't tell you for sure how big it will be, but our projections are looking good.
Just then, Peter came up from behind us and threw an arm around each of our shoulders.
Look at you two. Thornton's bright future, and it's ancient past.
My apologies, Mr. Alfonso. My vice president's had a bit too much to drink.
Pardon me, Mr. President, but I've had exactly enough. Well, Mr. Alfonso, have you been enjoying my hospitality?
Alfonso smiled politely.
Indeed I have, Mr. Victorn. You've put together one hell of a gathering. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to have a quick word with the CEO of Swordfish Petroleum.
We'll talk soon. Alfonso gave a brusque wave and walked off. Peter shifted his weight unsteadily.
Nice guy. A shitty president, but a nice guy.
Oh, call his ass out. Is that you in the hedge maze, Peter? I will give you one more chance. Where were you? Why didn't you tell me old Alfonso was coming?
I didn't know. Gus brought him along, and when a former president sort of knocks on your door, you can't exactly turn him away.
You know what? Never mind. Let's get another drink. Next time I won't be able to vet your guest list. You're risking a breach of national security with these parties. That's fine. I was happy to see him, but it was definitely a surprise. Yeah, we'll go with 3. It's fine. I was happy to see him, but it was definitely a surprise.
That's what I'm aiming for with these parties. All kinds of unexpected, stimulating encounters.
He contorted the side of his face in an attempt at a wink.
Now, who wants a drink? Besides me, of course.
He poured us 2 large glasses of whiskey, and we drank them in one go. Throughout the party, we drank and drank, just like old times. I woke up the next day with a pounding headache and more than a few regrets. My recollections of the evening were hazy, but there was one important detail that kept coming back to me. The red lipstick on Peter's collar. But maybe my memory was playing tricks on me. Oh, someone's gonna get caught, busted. Grooney, what else have we got? Oh, I guess Grooney's the next stop. Infrastructure at full capacity in Benfey. The bustling city of Benfey is facing infrastructural challenges as its airport and port facilities are at full capacity due to high volumes of logistics and tourist travel. The situation is raising concerns over the ability to sustain the growing demand without causing delays and disruptions.
Infrastructure expansion and modernization are being considered to resolve the issue.
Opening of the Benfey Festival.
Our motorcade slowly made its way towards the magnificent Benfey High Art Center. Night was falling, and the festival was about to begin. I flipped through the brochure that had been given to us at the hotel. On the front page, there was the face of Curtin Lest, mayor of Anrica. He was a Benfey native who had been in long-standing relationship with the city's current mayor and had been personally invited me to make tonight's opening speech. The Benfey Festival was one of the biggest events of the year. It originally marked a sort of an annual religious pilgrimage, a weeks-long journey still undertaken by devout Neurists. But today, it was better known as a cultural celebration that drew thousands of revelers to the city. There were film screenings, concerts, theaters, and dance performances, art exhibitions, and celebrity-studded nightly galas. The opening ceremonies were broadcast on TV and watched by millions. As the car slowed, a coterie of reporters and security guards rushed to meet us. I turned my attention to Monica. Since Gloria had convinced me to cancel her opening speech, things between us had been strained. She barely said a word to me all day.
Oh, I'm in the doghouse. I've been in the doghouse for quite some time. You should watch the Suzerain Rizia trailer. All right, this is that event.
just keep not talking. Just keep sitting there in silence. We're both ignoring each other.
She is mad. She is quite upset. Oh, there should be a fourth. There should be a fourth. There should be a fourth answer. Number 4. Okay, calm down. See, there should be a fourth option. I'm telling you. The best thing to do to an angry woman, tell her to calm down. Well, it's quite clear that she's probably still mad at me if we're still unstrained, so that's a dumb question to ask. I don't think either of these are good decisions. I'm leaning towards 1. We'll castle, and we'll make her make the first move. 3? You think so? I feel like these 2 options would still make her angry. Because this one is asking, it's asking something you would probably be able to tell by the way things have been going since you since you canceled her wanting to speak about feminism and women and stuff. And this one is I don't know. It doesn't matter. She's just gonna be mad anyway. Okay, we'll go with 3 then.
Will you ever forgive me? I told you my reasons.
I know, and I understand. It's just going to take me some time.
She clearly did not want to pursue this topic any further. As soon as Sergei opened the door, we were enveloped by the roar of the crowd. The next few minutes were a blur of handshakes, photos, and reporters' questions. The onlookers cheered as we walked the red carpet to a newly built art center. We followed the guards through the cavernous white halls until we came to a set of arched doors leading to the auditorium. We waited outside as security did a quick sweep of the area, then headed in. I'd been asked to make a quick set of remarks introducing Curtin Lest. I beckoned Monica to join me on the podium. I'm going to find my seat. Monica brushed past me, took her seat in front of the row and crossed her arms. I walked alone to the podium. I picked up the mic and said, "Okay, Monica, just calm down, all right? Calm down, please. We don't need a scene." Let's pour gasoline right on that fire and embarrass her while doing it. I spoke for just a minute, reading a paragraph my speechwriter had churned out about the importance of the festival and Benfey to Swordland. I concluded by inviting Curtin Lest, the mayor of Enrica, to the podium. I stepped down and joined Monica in the front row. Her arms were still folded.
Welcome to the first day of the Benfey Festival.
He paused for a moment to let the crowd cheer, and his eyes briefly met mine. Look away. I'm telling you, socially awkward autistic president run. Nod. I nodded.
This is a night for the people of Benfey. Indeed, for the people of Swordland, who put aside their differences and come together in celebration. And yet, as we unite for the festivities, we must remember the real reason we are gathered here.
The crowd fell silent, and the people were giving their full attention to what he had to say.
This festival was founded around the principles of our cherished religion, Nurity. Yet, over the years, it has been severed from its sacred roots and become something else. Something more perverse. An excuse for public drunkenness and grotesque displays of the flesh. An occasion for young women to parade their bodies and engage in lascivious behavior.
As he went on, I could see Monica become increasingly agitated. Oh boy, here we go.
What in the hell is he talking about? Lascivious behavior? What century does he think we live in?
Calm down. Calm down.
Listen, Monica, just calm down, okay?
I don't know, just let it be. Shh, quiet. Ignore her. Under the circumstances, I think ignoring her is probably the best option. Didn't hear her. Didn't hear her. Be neutral? What? I don't know, just let it be. I think that's probably the most neutral one. I don't know. Just let it be. Monica turned back to watching the speech, frown on her face.
Perversion, hidden under the guise of art, is not befitting the beautiful city of...
The crowd was becoming restless. Many of the younger attendees were murmuring in disagreement, while a few of the older ones were nodding vigorously.
As I said, perversion, hidden under the guise of art, is not
Enough!
Oh, shit. Here we go. Here we go. The hall fell silent. Monica rose and continued.
Mr. Lest, it is not young women who are a disgrace to this fine festival, but you! You! And your backwards, puritanical attitudes, which have been holding this country back for far too long.
Monica, sit down. You're making a fool of yourself. Shh, Monica, please sit down. Watch the events unfold. Oh. There's no good option here, is there? Wait, just watch it play out. I stayed in my seat and watched the events unfold. Monica turned to face the audience, speaking loud enough to be heard without a microphone.
Women of Swordland, we must not let people like Mr. Lest use religion as a justification to demean and oppress us. Our time has come.
Dear Lord, I married this woman? Shocked gasps ran through the crowd. A few people rose and applauded. Curtin Lest waited to speak.
I think Miss Rain is forgetting her place.
Oh, shit. Ah, shit.
What do you think my place is, Mr. Lest? The kitchen? This festival is not about your retrograde traditions. We are living in modern times now. It's 1954.
Monica, did you just make the current year argument? She just made the current year argument. It's current year.
And it isn't you or a place to decide how the people of Benfey, especially the women, should be celebrating their own festival.
Oh, damn. Oh, boy. So I can let this continue and see what they do. Or tell her to shut up. Do nothing. Let him just have it out. I don't think there's any good choices here. Let's see what she does. I kept watching in silence. I looked at the podium to see Curtin Lest's piercing gaze on me. There would surely be a price to pay for this.
Mr. President, could you please control your wife before she embarrasses herself any further? Monica, get back in your goddamn seat!
Can I get up and just slap her too? You know, just go full on, like, full on misogynist patriarch. Monica, we've been all over this. Now is not the time. Sit down, please. I'm so sorry about this, Mr. Lest. Please, finish your speech. You know what, Curtin? My wife is absolutely right. Yes, you can. I don't want to side with her. That's the thing. if this is supposed to be a religious festival, and people feel that it's getting away from its traditional roots, I mean, he does have a point. That's kind of a weak answer. On a future playthrough, I'm definitely going to have to do that one. Monica, get back in your goddamn seat. Don't make me fucking tell you again. Four will kill this run. We'll go with 2. The crowd was in an uproar. I had to lean over to catch Monica's next words. I'm so sorry, Anton. Next time, I'll stay in the kitchen. She sat back down, seething. Curtin's voice filled the hall. Benfey has always been a beacon of culture, tradition, and religion. Many battles have been fought over this precious city. Army after army has tried to claim it for their own, but we fought back and won each time. We stand here thanks to the strong men who were able to protect their families, their lands, their way of living. Every day I praise God, and we have succeeded so far. Scattered applause broke out from some of the older members of the audience. I leaned over to Monica. Praise God, he's only allowed to speak for another 2 minutes. He sounds more like a priest than a politician. He's a bit extreme, but he is right. We owe everything to God. Wow, really just pour gas on that fire, huh? I don't think after telling her to shut up, we should side with him. So it'd have to be 2 or 3. He sounds more like a priest than a politician. She's probably mad either way. Praise God, he's only allowed to speak for another 2 minutes. I don't know, maybe a joke would break the ice? Then again, what if he overhears me? Praise God, he's only allowed to speak for another 2 minutes. Monica said nothing, her gaze fixed forward. Net traditions that form the very fabric of our society are being tested, even as I speak. He looked pointedly at Monica. We must stay true to our values so that Swordland can prevail, so that Benfey can prevail. With these at the forefront, I am convinced that Swordland will continue to be the greatest nation in the world. I invite every single one of you to celebrate our roots and our traditions at this holy Benfey festival. I hereby declare the festival open. Praise God, praise Swordland, praise Benfey. Ah, Morgana Wescore. Lectern Sister. Most of the people in the hall finished the decades-old saying, including me. Monica's lips moved, but she didn't say the words out loud. He exited the stage as the band struck up the official festival anthem. I spent the rest of the evening alternatively watching the festivities and conversing with local politicians. By the time we got back to the hotel, I was exhausted. But thanks to the festivities still raging outside, and the sound of Monica tossing and turning beside me, I couldn't sleep at all. Well, we are now well and good in that doghouse, aren't we? Siding with Monica would in all likelihood give you the every vote counts achievement. Fail the constitutional vote by one vote. Ah. Fire investigation suspended. A lack of further evidence from the investigation into the fire that occurred at Halsard State University archives has caused the case to be suspended until further notice from the police and SID. The cordon has been lifted. Oh yeah, there was that fire at the archives. Central Bank drafts economic recovery proposal. In an effort to mitigate economic damages, Halsard Central Bank is working on a new proposal. The plan comprises several measures, including the accumulation of foreign exchange reserves, the adoption of cautious fiscal policy, and increased support for our export-oriented industries. The bank's initiative forms a crucial part of the broader strategy to stabilize Sordland's economy. Downtime. We know why Squid isn't picking the next event. Sorry, Monica. I got. Oh, geez. Somebody has arranged all these books in weird order, alphabetically. Nope. I'm gonna have to go through each one of these books and make sure that they're arranged in the correct alphabetical order, so that someone's not playing some kind of weird prank on me. I'll be home in 55. Alright, let's get it over with. It felt like eternity since the Benfey Festival. Had it really only been less than 24 hours? I was at home now, drinking an afternoon coffee on my balcony. A stack of newspapers lay by my side. I picked them up one by one, reading and rereading the articles about the festival. Some of the newspapers were merciless against Monica for interrupting Curtin during his speech. Few even called for her to be barred from political matters. Others expressed their support. In any event, I was relieved that the incident hadn't reflected too badly on me. I was putting the last newspaper down as Monica joined me on the balcony. So, you've seen the news? just ignore her. No, nobody's brought the paper today. Oh, look, there's the paper. Well, I'm talking with you is the bigger priority. I got no time to read newspapers. That just seems to be trying to start a fight. Ignoring her probably wouldn't work. Monica, I know. We can talk about this. What is there to talk about? I'm a disgrace with no support from my husband. It says so right here. You shouldn't have spoken out. Did not reply. Darling, believe me, my hands were tied. One just seems like spoiling for an even bigger fight. You can totally start a fight here and not just a verbal one. Ah, yeah, domestic abuse. No, I'm playing a somewhat rational, responsible family man. I can't do that. Darling, believe me, my hands were tied.
Anton, how could you? First, you deny me the opportunity to speak at the festival. Then you let that dinosaur Lest make a mockery of me and my cause.
She grabbed one of the newspapers from the top of the stack and started reading out what a columnist wrote.
With her shameful outburst at Enrica, Mayor Curtin Lest, First Lady Monica Rain once again proved that politics is an area best left to gentlemen. With the president providing no support, her challenge to Lest was quickly defeated. The president provided no support. You can't even stand Lest, and you took his side while making me look like a fool.
She started ripping the newspaper to shreds. And she mad.
After all these years by our side, playing the doting wife, you know, my mother was right about you.
Damn. I thought you were capable of defending yourself. Clearly not. What's that supposed to mean? I'm so sorry. I understand if you never forgive me. That's just pouring gas on that fire. That's really spoiling for a fight. Let's just be apologetic and see if we can calm her down. I don't want to fight my wife. We'll save that for a future run. We'll be a domestic abusing Nazi. Where's answer number 4? Calm down. If we're gonna pour gas in the fire, we might as well tell her to calm down. That is clearly going to start a fucking fight. There's no way that wouldn't start a fight. I thought you were capable of defending yourself. Clearly not. That is some kind of fucked up shit. I'd probably say if I was really getting into it with the female that was a major part of my life, and she was throwing shit like my mom was right about you. Let's be apologetic and try and make amends. 2 is the worst option? Really? Oh, because it'll give her the opening, because she'll be able to probably say like something like, you don't even know, or you don't listen at all, blah blah blah. I'm gonna try 3. I'm so sorry. I understand if you'll never forgive me.
Just tell me why. Couldn't you have said something?
Damn, still going at it? Yeah, I skipped yesterday, so I figured I'd try and go for a little bit longer today to try and catch up on what we missed out on yesterday. I didn't want to lose Curtin's support. I mean, that's the truth, but it's putting it a little bluntly. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices for the good of the country. You've got to learn that if you want to enter politics. That's still blunt, but a more reasonable answer. And it explains things a little bit better. I was afraid I'd make you look weak by stepping in. I was afraid I'd make you look weak by stepping in.
I suppose I can appreciate that.
And there was a brief silence.
There is another chance, you know, for you to show your real support. Perhaps the festival wasn't the proper forum to air my views on women's rights. But I still need to do this, Anton. I want to officially adopt this cause as First Lady, to actually get involved in politics, not just give impromptu speeches. I could even help your education minister with these reforms she's working on. I know this is something you're passionate about as well. Can I count on you?
No! Leave politics to the politicians, bitch.
Okay, that actually does seem like a reasonable compromise, since we're already kind of pushing those reforms that way. That seems like a good compromise, actually. She's gonna scream, "My brother works in the DEA any moment now." My name is Monica Rain, yo. My husband is Anton Rain, yo. My brother-in-law works for the DEA. If you sell weed to the president one more time, I won't hesitate. Okay, lady. Okay, I won't sell weed to the president anymore. She kind of looks like her. I think one sounds like the fairest compromise, and I don't think there's any way that that's going to get fucked up, since the lady working on it's already kind of in intellectual lockstep, and we're already pushing for those reforms anyway, so kind of leaning towards one. Unless anybody thinks that's a bad idea. I don't see it as being a bad idea. Since we're already working on reforms and doing privatization and everything, we've already pissed off the people that would be mad with her taking the helm there. One puts her together with Clara, yeah. And I don't think Clara and her, or Ciara and her, are gonna have many problems, are they? I really don't remember Ciara as having the kind of personality that would go against the sort of feminist movement that Monica is trying to start. Yeah, I'm thinking one. We'll go with one. Of course, my love. Of course. I'm looking forward to working closer together. Ciara is going to corrupt her into a commie. Well, if my wife becomes a communist, there's only one thing we can do. Make her into a good communist. Monica, my dear wife, please, I want to take you on a helicopter ride in the new presidential helicopter.
Oh, Anton, this means so much to me.
Monica hugged me tightly, and I felt some of the past days' tension melt away.
Thank you.
A noise came from the balcony door. We both turned our heads to see Deanna standing there. Oh gosh. An actual fight here would be right in front of the kid, wouldn't it? Especially if it got physical. And before you know it, little Deanna has opened an OnlyFans and is selling feet pics to strangers online. She's got like tattoos and piercings all over the place. And she's making things awkward for her conga line of boyfriends by crying in the bathroom for hours after they do it. In the community, nobody except femo communists like Ciara.
Mama, I'm hungry. Let's go to the kitchen, baby. We'll make Papa the best snack ever.
Wow, she said she was hungry. Dang, why you gotta be mean to the girl? She said she was... I didn't even say I was hungry. What are you doing?
Yay!
They left the balcony and returned half an hour later with a large cookie. Deanna had written my name and icing on it. Aw, that's sweet. As I sipped my coffee and nibbled the cookie, I thought that I had made the right choice. Things were going to get harder, but at least my life at home was somewhat peaceful. Ah, that's like the perfect bookend to end this chapter in this stream on. Let's take a look at what's next, and then we'll wrap things up. So next we have the budget allocation for the armed forces. So we get to talk with the pig-faced Hitler mustache guy. And a report on the refugees of Vernon. Oh, that's the border there, where we're closing things up. Diana will not take it good if you fight here. Diana started her emo phase and now identifies as a communist. The army budget, that's a quick one. I guess we can do a little bit more. But that last chapter, the smoothing of the family tensions, that's a good bookend though. Reports from our border and the Wessex city Vernon show that there are about 1,000 people running away from Wessex military forces towards the Swordfish border. To determine the current situation of the military and its spending policy, he held a meeting in the White Room. Peter, Vulcan, and Yosef were seated. General Vulcan, Mr. Lancia, let's start with the briefing.
Very well, Mr. President. We have prepared a briefing to convey further details about the current situation of our military. First off, we have received an updated communication from the Arcasian Military Command. Their planes are being moved into Erlori Air Base as we speak. Under our supervision, of course.
Do your best to make them feel at home. Good. Make sure you keep an eye on them. Ensure that they do not forget which country's soil they are on. Good. Make sure you keep an eye on them.
Of course, Mr. President. Now, let's move on to our military. Which branch would you like to know about?
What is the situation of our army?
According to the latest reports from Camp Strongholm, currently we field 6 armies totaling up to approximately 400,000 active troops, which is a good amount. The real issue we are having is the quality, not quantity.
What is the current equipment status?
Our army is quite outdated by today's military standards. Most of our equipment is 2 decades old. To make up for our lack of modern military equipment, we resort to a large number of soldiers, which is not really a long-term solution. I've been trying hard to reduce the negative effects of this problem. We don't need a modernization program. A standardization purchase of lacking equipment would do. We need more funding towards expanding the military size. Otherwise, our armies will be seen as weak.
Where exactly is our army deployed at right now?
The First Army is stationed at the Lesbia and Wayland borders to protect the way into the central regions of Swordland. The Second Army, our largest force, has been situated by the Rumburg border. The Second Army has a large mountain commando force and is the most adequately equipped army to face Rumburg. The Third Army is near the Agnolian border and the coastal areas facing Valksland. Due to our bitter past with our coastal defense forces always on alert, the decimation of our fleet is still not forgotten.
How do we compare to other armies?
Rumburg fields about 6 armies amounting to 1,000,000 soldiers. Lesbia fields 5 armies which amount to 800,000 soldiers. Valksland field 1 army of about 140,000 soldiers. Wayland fields an army amounting to 100,000 soldiers, and Agnolia fields 2 armies with a total of 200,000 soldiers. The sheer size of Rumburg's army is because of their forced conscription laws. They are able to afford such a large force due to their massive gold reserves, which significantly come from Rizia over the past decades. On the other hand, the Lesbian army is the most advanced, followed by the Valkslandian army. Both of these countries put lots of money in modernizing their military.
I'm curious about another branch.
Very well.
In the Navy.
They want you as a new recruit. They want you in the Navy. They want you in the Navy. Our Navy currently constitutes 59 vessels with a total of 60,000 sailors and support staff. As you know, these ships are commanded from our main naval base in Conrad, where our flagship SN Renan is docked.
How does our Navy compare to others?
Our Navy is dwarfed by the size of the Valkslandian Navy, which has 194 ships, and the Agnolian Navy that has 81 ships. We only surpass Lesbia in terms of our Navy, as they have less than 30 ships. As you can see, the situation is dire, but the solution is not just more ships. To make a truly better Navy, we need to equip our ships with modern radar and sonar systems. More outdated ships wouldn't mean much.
Which seas does our Navy currently patrol?
We are patrolling the Mercian Sea, the Grey Strait, and the Antician Sea. Our Navy protects all our coastal regions, however, due to make sure we are not thinning out our defenses. We prioritize certain regions of others, like Greater Holsard. We often patrol the routes that are close to the shipping lanes, especially the Mercian Sea and Grey Strait. The amount of cargo that goes through that area is eye-opening. Another thing to note is, after the takeover of Helgeland, where our Navy has led incursion operations to protect Agnolia, we also take part in some joint Navy drills as well.
Can you provide the details on our Air Force?
Our Air Force currently has 410 planes in the inventory, out of which only 140 are jet planes that are not in great condition. 30,000 pilots and support staff work in the Air Force, and they are commanded from the Mark Air Force Base in Erlori. Our planes can pipe bomb targets within 400-kilometer radius of their airfield. They have medium range and semi-effective nighttime bombing capabilities. At any time, we can field 7 air wings comprising a total of 130 aircraft that can operate in combat duty. This is enough to subdue most targets. In terms of our bombing capacity, we have an average of 100 meters of precision. This is not great, but it is still within the effective radius of the bombs.
Our pilots have average experience. They have a total of 450 hours flight time with their craft before they are qualified. This gives them more than enough time to get used to it. This is low compared to 1,000 to 1,500 hours in other countries like Arcasia, United Cortana, Lesbia, and even Volksland. Normally, the hours per pilot should be higher, but due to the lack of funding, we can't increase the training times. Fuel costs are rather high. The Air Force is trained as an independent tactical support branch, which means it assists other branches but doesn't collaborate. This does cause some issues like friendly fire and missed close air support opportunities. There are ways to improve collaboration with joint operation rooms. Something to think about, surely.
Actually, let's move on.
Let's. He cleared his throat. The Ministry of Defense is disappointed about the lack of additional funds.
We knew that keeping in the same budget for the military would cause some concerns for you. The military is important, but not a priority right now. Resources were more needed elsewhere. The military has always been well funded. I'd be willing to support the military in other ways. We could come to an agreement. Yeah, I wanted to see what the actual details of our military was. It sounds like we're average overall. I don't know what they're complaining about, except for the fact that they want to modernize. As we're not at war, hopefully we don't go into war. We don't have a problem with it.
We live in a geostrategic region with potential volatility. Once war or conflict comes knocking, that is when you will realize. We know that there have been high hopes, but the President has made his decision to prioritize other branches. We are stuck between a rock and a hard place without money. The military suffers from budget overextension in order to keep up with other countries.
Yosef let out a long sigh.
No use complaining now, Falcon. Let's look at what we can do with what we have. I have been planning to improve the quality of the armed forces by buying better military equipment.
How would that be possible without funds?
It won't be. There is one way. If we relieve half the forces that could create enough of a surplus, then we could invest in new equipment.
So fire people. Relieving half the armed forces sounds risky at best and destructive at worst. Go on. Quality over quantity. I like it. Go on.
Vulcan's eyes widened. We are barely matching the size of half our neighbors, while our other half of armies 2 times bigger than ours. How on earth would discharging half the armed forces and buying new gear solve our defense issues?
Better equipped, smaller force is much more preferable.
We are 2 decades behind in gear and training due to the size and sluggishness of the forces.
The reduction of the army would cause more unemployment, which could hurt the administration. What do you think, Mr. President? Let's do it. reduce the size and buy better equipment with a surplus. Let's reform the army and create a smaller, better equipped force.
Excellent. I shall begin the plans immediately.
I can hardly say that I welcome this change.
Yosef and Vulcan looked at each other. That will be all for today, then. Dismissed. I'd like to extend my thanks for your attendance. The meeting concluded as the sun set over the concrete jungle that was Hallsword. So where's the next event? I think we'll leave that as the end, but I just want to see where the next event is. Where is it hiding? Oh, it's way the heck over here? Republic of Wayland. Trade talks with the president and a report. In Agnolia and Wayland. Oh, I see. Yes, I see. Great. That's definitely going to be something to look forward to in the next chapter. So we'll put this as the bookend. A 3-hour-long stream. I feel like we made some good progress today, and we didn't turn our daughter into a emo drug addict. Selling feet pics online. And crying in the bathroom for 4 hours. Those are really important. I really hope you don't screw them up. Well, we'll see. We shall see. We'll do this again. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks for being here, everybody. I hope you had fun. I know I did. And, yeah, we will see what happens with the foreign diplomacy in the next chapter. This is a good end and a good start to another chapter. I'm excited. I hope you're excited, too. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. As always, thanks everybody out there who checks out the VODs later. I hope you're enjoying this game. I am. Well, I know the people in the live are enjoying it, otherwise they wouldn't be here. I don't know. Maybe they enjoy watching things they hate. I don't know. Hate watching? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been meaning to make a, I've been meaning to make a new key. I should probably get around to that. Actually, I wonder if I could do that right now. Oh, did you already make one? I thought all the keys we had were... Is it a new one? Because I thought all the old keys that we generated were expired. Well, assuming that's a new one, there'd be the link to the Discord. Yeah, someone just joined. Usually when I do streams, I will either ping Twitter or Discord, or Twitter and Discord. I'm trying to get into the habit of doing that because I know YouTube doesn't always like to notify people. I have had people complain about that where I've been streaming for like hours and they only show up at the end because they saw it just as I was getting done and they're like, yeah, I didn't get any notifications and it didn't show you anywhere streaming. So I usually use those as additional ways to notify people. So I just do an everyone ping I should probably get one of them bots that does it for me, but I just... there's a lot of things I need to do. And I'm working on it. But as I always say, we like to keep things professional here. And professional we are. Yeah, they really are. But welcome to anybody who decides to join the Discord. I hope you don't end up with the culture shock that my my other friend did when he joined it. But then again, yeah. Don't join the NSF channel unless you're looking for NSFW stuff. I'm just gonna warn you now. All right. With that being said, yeah. If you are definitely wanting to keep up to date on when I'm streaming, I usually try and ping the Discord. I'm trying to get into the habit of doing the Discord and the Twitter, but I at least usually ping the Twitter. So I know Twitter doesn't necessarily notify you, so it's easy to miss, but I am trying to get in the habit of pinging the Discord every time as well. So, same time, same channel. And if you're not here, checking out the VOD later. Hope you enjoyed. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. And as always, I'll see y'all out there and take her easy. Whatever you do.